New episodes of the I Know You Didn't Ask podcast are out every Monday and Friday, available wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. Welcome to I Know You Didn't Ask. I'm your host, Megan O'Donnell, and bear with me today. I got a little bit of a cold. I'm a little stuffed up. It is Wednesday, December 31st, 2025, the last day of the year. Caught a little bug a couple days ago. Thankfully, not too bad, but a bug nonetheless. And if you know me, you know I've been just engaging in content at a rapid warp speed. Watching old documentaries that I've seen 4 to 5 times at this point, leaning into cults at this time of year, and I feel like I'm leaning into these cult documentaries simply because I want to go into a world where I don't really need to think. I have a man thinking for me, telling me what I'm eating, what I'm doing. I want to be controlled. And not in a real way. Like, obviously, I'm like my own personal control freak and I like to, do whatever I want. And I actually hate when people control me. But in theory, joining a cult sounds really nice. I don't want to be branded. That is something I'm not interested in being. But I am looking to like be kind of encouraged to get skinny by a cult. Like, they all like want to be skinny together and it's like a group thing we could do. Like in Nexium, we could be playing volleyball together. Like, I feel like there are some pros. So we'll get into what I'm watching a little bit later. But of course, it's the Christmas season. We're going to talk a lot about, some Christmas magic that came across my desk the past week. But I just have to say, I was watching The Family Stone, a great Christmas flick. And of course, Sarah Jessica Parker is the ingenue, I guess. I wouldn't even call her that. She's the star of the film, and I love her horrible personality. From the moment she's on screen, I hate her, and I hate everything about her from the jump. And I do like watching unlikable women. I think that's a untapped market in a lot of films that I'm watching lately. But I have to say, Luke Wilson in that film is so hot, which then got me to believing that Luke and Owen Wilson may just be the hottest brothers in Hollywood. Like, we have the Duplass brothers, not hot. We have the Hemsworth brothers. Again, these people are like objectively hot, but not to me. We have the Baldwin brothers. In their heyday, they were looking pretty good. We have the Wayans brothers, the Franco brothers, I mean, the Coen brothers, but nobody's calling them hotties. But I just feel like nobody has shit on Luke and Owen Wilson. Like, they have great hair, seemingly great personalities. You get like light to medium addiction issues emanating off of them, which is kind of a quality that I think I might be attracted to. And I just found them, just to be good time guys. And of course, you watch Owen Wilson in like Wedding Crashers and you're like, I want to be with you. Like, you're the most fun man in the world. You have everything going for you. And then when I rewatch The Family Stone, Luke Wilson is just like the easy breezy brother. He's like, I like this bitch girl. Yeah, I could be, willy nilly, don't give a fuck about anything. I'm with this uppity bitch. I'm really into her. I don't know what it is, but I've just been in a Wilson Brothers renaissance in the last few days. Clearly, I am hopped up on fucking cough medicine. I don't even know what I'm taking. It's at that point where I'm like, oh, miscellaneous orange pill full of miscellaneous goo. I'll take 6 of them today. Fuck it, I don't care. I was having a lot of things on the docket last week, but if you follow me here, and if you know me at all, I mean, what did I put out? 96 episodes this year? Not bragging or anything. But, I don't work during holiday breaks, so for me to assume I was gonna was hilarious. It was a sick trick on myself, and I think it was one last little push that I wanted to really get out before the end of the year. And then I have to, recontextualize like who I am and what I'm doing and just everything in my life to realize like I don't work on Christmas Eve. I'm not pumping out a new episode about Bravo TV news on Christmas Eve. Get fucked. So I posted 2 re-releases, one of my NYC Soho kidnapping crypto shit show. I re-listened to that episode and by golly, it's really fucking good. So go back and listen to that re-release. And then I also re-released the Sheena Shea My Good Side recap that I did with my friend Olivia. So check those 2 out if you're just looking for some content in this week. In this kind of boring dead week of, a lull on Bravo, a lull on most of the shows. Everybody's watching Heated Rivalry. Again, I'm rewatching The Vow and Going Clear, so I'm just not at Heated Rivalry yet. But I do enjoy my fair share of homoerotic content, so I will be dabbling into that. I think that's like a solo show. I really don't want to watch it with my husband because if we're both turned on by it, I don't know what I don't know what that says. I'm too early in the marriage to start throwing in sexy gay homoeroticism amongst us. Am I wrong? Are we missing out on something? But I don't know. Hit me up in the DMs if you and your straight husband have been watching Heated Rivalry together and getting off on it. Okay, we have to talk about the death of Brigitte Bardot, the face of 1950s, 1960s French New Wave cinema, starring in lots of films by, Jean-Luc Godard and Roger Vadim, whose name is probably just Roger, but I threw a little French spin on it. Don't forget I studied French for 4 years in college. Nothing to show for it. I can order escargot, I can get into a cab and tell them where to go, and I can basically ask where the bathroom is. That's pretty much all I can do. Also, if you guys are watching on YouTube or Spotify, you're going to see a very mortifying mug that I'm drinking from. It's like, okay, one, it's like covered in coffee stains, so that's besides the point, but it's like this silly little Star Wars character with like this tongue out. I don't know. Whenever I drink from this mug, I'm not in a good place mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, sexually, just all of it. It's not good. I can't breathe through my nose, so I'm actually struggling through this episode because I simply cannot talk and yap consistently and breathe at the same time. Brigitte Bardot died at 91. TBH, I already thought she was dead. Uh, she was so gorgeous, very natural, and also kind of had this like rebellious energy. And I think that kind of sensuality that she had felt very casual and not overly done up and not prim and proper. And I think those were some of the qualities that really made her stand out in cinema. But, of course, she also changed the way I feel about blonde hair, feathered bangs. She had the best head of hair in Hollywood. I mean, there's only Matilda Durf. I don't know if you guys know this deep cut influencer reference, but she too has a Brigitte Bardot hairdo. And girls like that who were gifted with such stunning hair do just have a leg up in all forms of life. And it's deeply unfair. And again, if you're watching on YouTube and Spotify, you know that I'm not one of those girls who has great hair. I'm trying my best. Today, we simply just have a slicked back pony. Again, we're doing the best we can. I am wearing my Cuban link big ass chain. Of course, Old Navy cardigan. I mean, you know me. If it's either Old Navy or thrifted, or Old Navy that I thrifted. So I'm keeping it pretty low budget these days. Anyways, Brigitte is dead. I don't care. But one of my favorite things is that, the star dies. Everybody is devastated. We're so sad. And then it comes out that she's a racist. So Chappell Roan stepped in some shit this week because I guess she posted a tribute to Brigitte Bardot. Oh my God, R.I.P. What, an inspiration to white girls everywhere. And I guess it came out that Brigitte Bardot was incredibly racist. And, of course, now it's like the full 180 on like all the people who are posting their in memoriam Instagram stories. And, Chappell Roan comes out and says, "Holy shit, I did not know all the sins that Miss Bardot stood for. Obviously, I do not condone this. Very disappointing to learn." And I like that she addressed her by Miss. She's like, "You are still 91 years old. I will respect my elders. I'm a good Midwestern girl. I don't forget where, my values stem from." But I guess Brigitte Bardot is like completely horrific and racist, like so much so that like the French government has fined her multiple times for horrifically racist remarks targeting Muslims and other groups. She also dismissed Me Too movement, calling it hypocritical, ridiculous, and criticized actresses who reported harassment. She's like, "You idiots are not French. You do not understand. Who cares if a man sticks out his penis and whacks off in front of you? He's having fun. He's expressing himself. Get over it." Like, she doesn't care. She's French. She's like, "Bitch, shut up with that complaining. He just assaulted you at work. Get over it. You should be so lucky that that man wants to touch you." Like, there's nothing as horrific as that kind of enabling of horrific behavior. I guess she also was very much anti immigrant in France. And she also talked about a small island off of Africa, further out even than Madagascar, called Reunion. And I'm probably saying that very wrong, but I'm guessing she's saying that that French territory, which is predominantly full of black people, should not be able to move to France. It's always hard when you have to get into these types of quotes, but she calls the black people from Reunion Island degenerates, and she said, they basically shouldn't be able to come to France because they want to save their white gene pool. Not an easy one. Not an easy one to swallow, Brigitte. Not exactly the kindest. But I will say, like everything, I always find a way to turn, another woman's trash into my treasure, which is, now that I know about Reunion Island off the, coast of Africa, I want to go there. There are some gorgeous five-star resorts there that are looking pretty affordable. Granted, getting to Reunion Island is probably going to take you, I don't know, 17 hours from New York. But Hotel Diana looks sublime. I feel like it's worth the trek to get there, to experience a gorgeous five-star resort at Hotel Diana. Again, another woman's trash comment is now my treasure. Maybe one day I'll go to Reunion. I want to go to Reunion. I want to go to Seychelles. And those are, again, the only two high-end islands that I know off of Africa. Maybe another dying old bitch will soon enough tell me about another gorgeous remote island. I do feel like a place like Reunion Island is like where Jeffrey Epstein is currently hiding. We all know Jeffrey Epstein is absolutely not dead. He's completely booed up with a bunch of 15-year-olds on Reunion Island, posted up with a couple mojitos. He has, watched the Diddy documentaries. Now he's lacing baby oil with GHB. He's learning from the new documentaries that are coming about new tactics on how to be horrific. Just be a horrific person. Honestly, Brigitte Bardot probably wouldn't condone what Jeffrey Epstein was doing. And for that, I stand with Chappell Roan. I do not stand for all of the sins that Miss Bardot stood for. Obviously, I do not condone this. This is why I don't write tributes. This is why I keep everything to this stupid show. Because once you put it on your stories, you'll have that live on forever. Okay, let's talk through some Christmas magic. We're going to run through just a few little top-line notes of things I saw happening in pop culture this Christmas season. We have Toothless Teigen. Chrissy Teigen lost a tooth, or I should say lost a veneer, while eating a candy cane because she was doing this craft with her 12 kids, and I guess they were growing candy canes. So it's like the first day you plant your little candy cane, I think in real dirt. I don't know if we were doing like a fake dirt, like with Oreo cookie crumbles, but we were watching her and the kids plant little planters with dirt, real or fake, we don't know, and they'd put like a little baby candy cane in there. And then on the next day, Chrissy would find a bigger one and do that as well. And then the next day, it would be a bigger one. I'm sorry, I just have to say, I am not looking forward to being a lame parent. Like, I don't want to plant candy canes. Like, how dumb are our kids that, like, this is all they want in life? Like, planted candy canes. Like, can't you get another hobby? Can't you play in the yard? What are we doing here? You live in California. It's 82 degrees on Christmas morning. Go kick the soccer ball. You don't need to be planting fake candy canes. Fake candy canes that end up with your mother losing a tooth. So Chrissy posted a photo of losing one of her front veneers. big old gap in the tooth, and I guess I didn't know that a veneer had like a little mini, I don't know, plastic thing that I guess keeps the tooth in place. But that little thing was right front and center on her face, and again, just a cautionary tale of, someone who didn't need veneers now getting veneers, now losing veneers via candy cane. And I will say I was marked safe from candy canes this year. I didn't come into contact with one. I didn't have to eat one. I didn't see one on a Christmas tree. I wasn't offered one at a store or at the bank. I didn't go anywhere near a candy cane, and I feel like this year could possibly be the last year that candy canes are in. Definitely watch this space, but I feel like candy canes are fucking done, especially what they did to Toothless Tegan. Nicola Peltz Beckham and Brooklyn Peltz Beckham spent the weekend with the Peltz family in Palm Beach, their mansion. And I'm sorry, listeners, but this is a new hyperfixation. The relationship between these two losers is now going to be very much something we're reporting on consistently on the show. As you know, I am jumping into some research on Nicola and Brooklyn's wedding lawsuits in the next coming month or so. George Santos' work is underway, people. It's going very well. I'm picking up a book, I think later tomorrow or Friday when I'm feeling better, at the library about the George Santos scandal. He's also friends with Anna Delvey. So again, it's so perfect that all of my scammer obsessions are kind of friends with one another. It's beautiful. People need to find friends, and you need to find your community. And whether it's with other scammers, or at least in George's case, like former, drag queen gay Republicans, like you have to find your community somewhere. I'm also knee deep in my Hilaria Baldwin thing. That's going to be a 3-parter. It's going to be before Alec, with Alec, and then after the called Griftmas, they say, because it was like in December when her Spanish persona was kind of blown up and right on the cover of New York Post, I think. Yeah, I think it was a New York Post where she was like dressed up as like the like bullfighting emoji. It's iconic, but yeah, that is a bit of labor of love. Like that is a laborious amount of work. And again, it's what I do for you guys, which actually, again, in my dire state of not really being able to properly speak, if you have a minute to subscribe to the show, that would mean everything. You don't even have to review, rate. I don't care about any of that shit. It's the subscribers that really matter. So if you have a free minute, please make sure you subscribe to the show, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. It doesn't matter. Just make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. And again, it helps your friends in your ecosystem, on your algorithm, then get targeted with this show as well, which is ultimately the most important part. Okay, you guys, we have to talk about the saddest bitch in Hollywood, Mindy Kaling. And I was a big fan of hers. I read her book before, she even was uber popular on The Office and had all of her shows, but she was spending time with possible baby daddy BJ Novak on Christmas. He's the father of her children, right? Like that friend zone situation is so sad to me. Unfortunately, we've all been friend zoned. It's so much better to be the friend zoner than to be the friend zoned. Again, I'm just so knee deep in having been in both situations that I can see both sides. But Mindy Kaling decided to have a baby with her friend zoned guy. And that's pretty dark. And again, it's not confirmed, and I'll probably get sued for saying this, but I mean, it's kind of obvious, right? And she doesn't post photos of the kids' faces, which I feel like is because he has a very distinct white man face. You know, can be seen as good and can be seen as bad. You make your own judgment about BJ Novak's face. But I feel like they must look exactly like him. And she's like, I can't really get away from the rumors about us, having children together if people actually see their face and it's like, okay, no, biologically, genetically, they have to be his kids because not many men have that Frankenstein-esque looking face. And now they're on her little beautiful Indian baby. So it has to just be obvious, and that's probably why she's not showing the face. But that always makes me sad. But he was actually spotted with influencer, and I shouldn't call her an influencer, I should say content creator, because she actually does create content, Delaney Rowe, who is a girl who makes these mockumentary style rom-com skits on social media. They are actually so funny. They're well written. She's a beautiful girl. She's actually becoming the girl that she makes fun of in all of her videos. And, I was kind of thinking more back to her skits in general. Basically, she kind of makes the skits about like the 30-year-old girl who works in the magazine industry and meets the guy when something crazy happens. She kind of writes the script of them falling in love or whatever. And it's really funny. She does a great job. But she was linked to dating BJ Novak. Pretty large age discrepancy there, but not a shock. But things have taken an even darker turn because she found another old white man, and she's now supposedly being linked to dating Seth MacFarlane, the creator of Family Guy, Ted. And honestly, I have to say, and I might have said this on this show before, but has anyone ever seen Seth MacFarlane and Elon Musk in the same room? I feel like Seth MacFarlane's fame and popularity was on the decrease as Elon Musk's was on the rise. And so I feel like Seth MacFarlane is actually playing the character of Elon Musk, and it's actually been like a very thought out and intricate plan to kind of take over the world. But supposedly, Delaney is now dating Seth MacFarlane. They've been spotted at the Bowery Hotel in downtown Manhattan, which like is a place to be seen. So you have to know people are going to be messaging Dumois. Dumois, can you believe it? I saw these two fucking losers sitting on a couch drinking Negronis. I'm like, what do they drink? Delaney Rowe is like, I drink a Negroni, and every sip she's like, oh god, I hate it. Oh god, I hate it, but it makes me look so fucking cool. And then I was thinking deeper into like her content, which like to me, she is mocking the women in these videos. She's mocking the characters that she is portraying. But then I realized, like, I think I see everything in the lens of joking and being funny because I'm really funny. No, just because I like see in humor and I ingest things with a humorous lens. Whereas, like, maybe she's not being funny. Maybe she's simply acting, which is what she wants to do. And she's like not poking fun at the characters at all, and she actually is a girl like that, and so she like doesn't think it's like something to make fun of. She genuinely believes like this is like a character study, a character writing, prompt that she's working on. But I don't know, whatever. It's just always funny when they kind of become the butt of their own joke. Okay, we have to pivot to Christmas with the Kardashians because Kim Kardashian gifted her sister Kourtney Pee Wee Herman's iconic bicycle after it sells at an auction for $125K. I just have to wonder why my own family didn't shell out $125,000 for a gift for me. And honestly, I would take it in cash as well. We don't need a iconic bicycle. I mean, Kourtney wrote, if anyone's looking for Pee Wee's bicycle, I have it. Coolest Christmas present, Kim Kardashian. Like, isn't the whole bit is that they always kind of hate each other? But I guess Kim is probably really good at giving gifts. Kim also gifted her 4 children each a new puppy. And I'm sorry, but we all know they have a colored past, a checkered past of buying animals and then, you never see them ever again. And it's unfortunate because at this time of year, so many people get animals as presents. But animals, whether it's a cat, a dog, a fish, a hamster, it doesn't matter. There are serious decisions for your families as it's going to become a lot more work, and you're going to have to nurture this thing and teach it how to go to the bathroom and take it on walks and find a place for it to stay when you're on vacation. All the things, like, these are not a transactional gift as if like you're giving them, an iPad. But these animals need training and love and commitment. And, there are so many people like Kim who give and receive animals during this time. And then ultimately in 2 weeks, they end up dropping these animals off at the shelter because they cannot handle the workload that actually comes with a new puppy, with a new animal, with a rescue dog, whatever the case may be. And Kim is just another fucking example of doing this. She's constantly buying these fucking animals. We don't see them. And then they just, fucking live in her sad garage. They eat sad food. They have no bonding moments with their kids. And to buy 4 puppies is so unnecessary and so frivolous. And again, it's like, they're all probably from the fanciest breeder you can find. They're the cutest little doggies. But even that, like, you have such a big platform, and to not even encourage a little bit of rescuing animals on your platform is so fucking sick. And again, we know Kim Kardashian is a hypocritical piece of shit. Never forget when she had a Birkin bag that was made out of elephant skin. Go back a few weeks ago and check out that episode if you want to hear me like go ape shit crazy. I had a comment on YouTube saying like, I'm so proud of the passion you have behind this pig skinning an elephant and making it into a carry-on bag. Fuck her. You guys, we have to talk about Khloe Kardashian, who also gifted baby True. She's not a baby. She's a big girl. Actually, no. She's just a girl. Khloe doesn't want her to be called big or tall. Those must be Khloe's triggers from growing up. But I remember hearing Khloe say once, like, don't call True big or tall. It's like her father is a basketball player. She's gonna be tall, and tall isn't a bad thing. But Khloe gifted little True with a sweet little chocolate black lab puppy, again in a box. I never like seeing the closed box with a puppy in it. But True was so excited. She was so sweet. I watched a video of Khloe making. I actually kind of sound like Courtney with my like nasally vocal fry voice today. But I watched a video of Khloe opening gifts on Christmas morning, full glam. She's like, I have been up for hours and I'm waiting for True to wake up. And you guys, we got True a puppy. Of course, True was thrilled about the puppy. We didn't see a thing about Tatum. Tatum, we don't care about. Tatum Tot, we don't care. Poor Tatum. Poor Tatum. It's like, it sucks to be a guy in that family. Like, you just want to be one of the girls. And, of course, Tristan Thompson was there. He was matching in his little plaid jammies like the rest of the family. And, I mean, I guess, I see both sides. Of course, she wants her kids to have a nice Christmas morning with both of her parents who are seemingly co-parenting very well with one another. However, why is he in the jammies with the rest of the family, Khloe? He's the baby daddy. He's not your man. And I don't know about you, but every year Kris Jenner comes out with the gingerbread house. And on the gingerbread house, it's becoming a gingerbread mansion. There's an ADU, there's a frog, a furnished room over garage. Like, there are many enclaves in this house. And on the roof of the gingerbread house are all the names of the people who are in good graces with the Kardashian Jenner clan that year. Whether it's a new boyfriend, whether it's a baby daddy, whether it's a new husband, whether it's a new kid, all the grandkids are there. Of course, I will say, notably absent, MJ. What happened to MJ? She's the true matriarch of this family. MJ walked so Kris could run. But that's besides the point. Of course, Tristan is on the gingerbread house, but none of the other baby daddies or baby mamas are on the gingerbread house's roof. I love how serious I'm talking about this gingerbread house, which you can buy online, by the way. I did see a link to it. I want to look into purchasing one for next year. It would just be me, Matt, and Margot. Like, that's it. Maybe there's a bed at the oven eventually. Oh my god, no, thank you. But there is no Kanye on the roof. There is no Scott Disick on the roof. There is no Black China on the roof. Yet there is a Tristan Thompson on the roof. So again, I feel like Tristan is still very much breadcrumbing Khloe into a fake happy family where he can cheat and be with other women. She subsequently is not. She's focusing on her kids, which I respect, and I love that for her. But I feel like he is still very much like emotionally abusing her and emotionally capturing her in this situationship for him to be in the matching jammies and on the gingerbread house. Like, I feel like he is still kind of weaseling his way into, their everyday life where like I said, we don't see Dream Kardashian. We don't see Black China on this, but we do see Dream. Of course, Dream is placed right underneath Khloe because Khloe does think Dream is her child, which I can't wait to get into that in about 12 years on this here show when Dream Kardashian comes out with a memoir. Or honestly, hell, I'll take Tokyo Tony's memoir. And I don't know if she's much of a writer. I don't know if she's a Vonnegut. I don't think Tokyo Tony is able to really put pen to paper right now, so I'm fine with a TikTok series, a four-parter. Spill the tea, Tokyo. Tokyo also knows, like, her biggest opponent in life is Kris Jenner, so she's like, I'm gonna have to keep my mouth shut until Kris Jenner's dead and can't sue me. Tokyo Tony, everybody really wants the real details on what's going on from the grandma's POV when it comes to Chloe, Dream, Black China, and Rob. We need that. We need that, please. Oh, also one little mention on the gingerbread house. Again, all roads lead back to the little gingerbread house. Timothy Chalamet was on the gingerbread house. That's a huge sign. We all know they're hot and heavy and they are together. But again, Timothy Chalamet, the confirmed boyfriend of Kylie, is on there. Travis Barker, the confirmed husband of Courtney. You know, Kim's exes aren't on there. Chloe's ex is on there. So that's kind of why I feel like Chloe and Tristan are absolutely together. Some kind of arrangement is happening. And Chloe's just spineless. We all know this. Let's be real. Okay, you guys, we have to talk about Alabama Barker's unhinged Christmas haul video. If I did a Christmas haul video, it'd all be shit from Amazon and Costco. Wasn't getting Birkins, wasn't getting Chanel shoes, and I don't need that shit. I don't need it. I mean, Alabama Barker received over $250,000 worth of gifts from her friends and her family. And of course, you know, they have a very large family. We saw the gingerbread house. Oh, Alabama and her siblings were also on the gingerbread house, which I actually thought was very sweet. So Alabama is going through all her new presents. She got some Chanel sneakers, which she's never going to wear. She had all these gorgeous heels and pumps and basic outfits. She did get a $25,000 Birkin bag because all 20-something-year-olds need a Birkin bag. She got multiple Chanel. The creepiest thing that Alabama Barker got that really set the internet ablaze was the massive amounts of sexy lingerie from Agent Provocateur. And she said, my dad got me all of this underwear and bras. And like, honey, those aren't underwear and bras. This is like kinky lingerie. And I'm sorry, you know, I'd be devastated if my dad knew what Agent Provocateur is, and I can't really say it properly with my nasal issues as of right now, but the highest end luxury lingerie my dad knows about is Victoria's Secret. And I want to keep it that way. But Alabama has come out with like 4 videos since the internet freaked out about her dad buying her fucking lingerie. And she's like, get right. I put it on my Christmas list. And Courtney bought it for me. But like, my dad was also there. And I don't know if, like, I just don't want my dad to know what I'm wearing under my sweater. Like, maybe I'm not like a cool California family, like I'm not a child of Hollywood, but I just don't feel like that is a present my dad needs to buy for me. Also, sorry, but my dad's never probably bought me a gift in his life. That's what mothers do. Mothers make Christmas happen. And not to say fathers don't, but I mean, let's be real. Also, you know who really probably was a little devastated by this $250,000 Christmas haul? Poor Shanna Mokler, her birth mother. That lady can't rub 2 sticks together. And she's watching her ex-husband buy their joint daughter kinky lingerie. You know, Shayna is having a brutal morning. It's Christmas morning. It's 8 a.m. She's cracking open her first eggnog, you know, ripping her vape, watching her daughter's TikToks of $250,000 worth of gifts. Shanna is, like, struggling to pay the electric bill. She's like, if only my daughter could sell one of those Chanel bags, I could pay my rent for 6 months. Like, it's just an excess of riches. Yes, Travis, you worked hard your whole life. You have all this money. Now you married a wealthy woman, too. Like, you guys have all this cash to burn. That's awesome and all. But do we really need $250,000 worth of gifts? Like, how long is she opening for? My family, we opened one gift at a time, and then we would be like peanut gallery, like have like a mini podcast basically for every gift. There'd be a story, there'd be a bit, a funny, like that's why like for a family of 5, it would take us, I don't know, like an hour and a half. But that's like also like a time to like be together and be grateful for the things that Santa brought for us and all of the joys of Christmas morning. Like I can't understand families who just like go ape shit and just like open everything at once and then you just like sit there with all your toys like 6 minutes later and then it's like, okay, where's breakfast? Like I like a slow burn. I like a slow Christmas morning. And so I do wonder what the mechanics are like at the Barker Kardashian household in terms of the amount of presents opening. If you do it the one by one method, all these fucking kids, there's I think 7 kids, one infant, so that kid doesn't count, but for the 6 kids who are, of mind and body and can open up their own presents, that would take like 7 to 8 hours. Like with the sheer volume of presents that each of these kids are fucking receiving. I'm just jealous, I think. I think that's where this really is hitting me where it hurts. Okay, you guys, what have I been watching this break? I've been a little under the weather, so I've been watching a lot of TV, reading a bit of books. I mean, pretty stagnant at page 142 of DVF's novel. It's been about a month. Diane von Furstenberg, you have a fabulous past and future ahead of you, but every time she tells a story, she's like, and then I was with the Prince of Monaco, and then my daughter married the CEO of JP Morgan Chase. I was on a private yacht outside of Corsica in Italy. Oh god, I was there for 6-7 months. And then I just left my husband. Fuck him. I found this Brazilian man. We did yoga for 2 years together. Like, okay, like, sounds really nice. But I've been watching a lot of TV. So let's just jump into it. So on Netflix, a new documentary came out called Evil Influencer, the Jodi Hildebrandt story. So this bitch is the partner in crime with Ruby Franke, the mom of those 6 Mormon freaks who had a YouTube channel called 8 Passengers. And I'm going to get deeper into the Ruby Franke, Jodi Hildebrandt story on a proper episode because there's just too much to tune into. This documentary, Evil Influencer, will really wet your whistle on what was going on in this godforsaken home in Utah. So basically, Ruby and her husband had 6 children. Long story short, they start a YouTube channel, and Ruby begins to aggressively discipline her children, and she's showing it on her YouTube channel. Ruby and Jodi link up because Jodi is this fucking creepo therapist who's all about, disciplining your children in a certain way and, the science behind disciplining children. And long story short, Ruby ends up kicking out her husband, and Jodi ends up moving in with Ruby. They're sharing a bed. And supposedly, the two of them would be in the bedroom, in the boudoir, for 4 hours and come out with a sense of euphoria. I started the show up top with a little homoerotica. Gotta assume the two of them were doing more than journaling up there. Jodi and Ruby end up doing horrifically heinous crimes against some of Ruby's children. One of the children run out and seeks out one of their neighbors, which ends up calling the cops, which ends up starting the whole investigation into the abuse scandal that Jodi and Ruby have found themselves knee-deep in. It is a fascinating documentary. It's absolutely devastating. I found it to be the first time I saw the police footage of the cops entering the home of Ruby and Jodi and finding some of the children literally just sitting alone in a closet, completely malnourished and silenced. These kids were terrified and just so docile and scared. And it was bone chilling. And I recommend that one for sure. Again, it's going to be part of a larger expose that I do here on this show, but that's another one that revolves like reading books and watching more documentaries. And I've got a lot on my plate for the new year. I have a lot on my plate. I'm doing a year compass. If you guys don't know what a year compass is, I just found out about it about 3 hours ago, but basically it's this like activity that you can do that talks about your 2025 and then your goals for 2026 and like kind of figuring out what works and what didn't and like what you take into the new year and what you hopefully can leave. And I have to say, when you do put things down on paper, it does make a larger psychological difference than when you just like think about changes you want to make. When you write it down, it really does help manifest and create what you want. So I have a lot of writing to do, I guess, because this brain is busted. Okay, let's do a quick pivot. Confessions of a Shopaholic on Netflix right now. I have to say, they constantly spammed this movie to me, and I kind of felt like it was a little on the nose. So Isla Fisher, fabulous actress, so gorgeous, by the way. Is she a natural redhead? I mean, we'll never know, and that might just be one of Hollywood's biggest secrets. But they were, interestingly enough, spamming that movie to me constantly on Netflix. But then I also just got an alert the other day, which triggered me to watch it, that it's going to be removed from Netflix any day now. And I have to say, I found the short life cycle of this movie to be, hmm, targeted. I felt it to be targeted towards women. So basically, Confessions of a Shopaholic, this young, beautiful woman wants to work at a fancy magazine, gets into all of this debt. Am I saying my own life story? Long story short, she gets a job at another financial magazine, learns about banking, whatever, gets herself out of her hole, yada yada. I found this to actually be very telling in the time that we're living in right now, where credit card debt is at an all-time high. Never been higher. Consumer debt through the roof. And it kind of felt like Netflix was like lobbing this into women to be like, hey, look, this girl can get herself out of it. And look, you can get yourself out of debt too. But that's actually not what the economy and debt collectors actually want. They want us to stay in debt. So part of me is thinking they're snatching it off Netflix early because they don't want women to see another woman getting themselves out of a deep financial hole because they want to keep us in the fucking cycle. Am I becoming a conspiracy theorist? Did it Confessions of a Shopaholic trigger something in me about the, nefarious behavior of the executives at Netflix? I don't know. Just think about it. The movie was also just really funny and a fun little romp to watch. It's like an hour 42 minutes. Again, that's all I can get through at this time in my life. I watched another creepy documentary called The Secrets We Bury on HBO Max. It's a documentary about a family who is from Long Island, my stomping grounds. And long story short, this family back in, I don't know, the 80s lost their dad. Daddy went to get cigarettes and never came back. But the family always felt like there was something deeper that had happened. And long story short, the guy who kind of spearheaded the search for their father had this inkling that the dad was buried in the basement. They were doing some construction on the home when they realized the dad wasn't coming back. So the son always had this strange inkling that someone put their father basically in the foundation of this home. And you're going to have to tune into the documentary because there's some crazy shit that happens and crazy shit that they uncover. I enjoyed it as like a short little movie to watch, but it's kind of terrible when you're like, this murder scandal is boring. I don't care about this murder. But it was a good one to keep things moving. Paris, I started season 4, and then about 3 minutes into the recap of season 3, I realized I didn't watch season 3. So now I'm going to go back and watch season 3. I'm sorry, but I like Emily in Paris. I am a basic bitch. I, again, upfront mentioned, studied abroad in Paris, studied it for 4 years. That should have been me. I should have been dating absolutely gorgeous men while I was studying abroad. Instead, I dated my loser boyfriend back in New York, tried to dump him before I left, didn't have the balls to do it, but I could have been with a chef. I could have been with whatever that other guy does for a living, and he's just so fucking hot. But I like living vicariously through Emily in Paris, even though she's like constantly like ruining work relationships, ruining friendships, ruining her personal relationships. I wish I had the balls to ruin more things in my life. I'm too precious, which I think is like why, she's a fake character on television and I'm like a real person. But I will be going back and getting, through season 3. I don't know, maybe 5 hours, 6 hours. I can rip through it and then join everybody on season 4. But I have to say, I have been watching Selling OC. I'm sorry, I know I'm not supposed to like it. I know all of them are MAGA idiots. Don't get me wrong, I know this. I know this. But the show is really good. And one thing I like about Selling OC is that they're not even pretending to actually sell real estate. I feel like I'm never seeing them like ring the bell on the Oppenheimer offices that they like sold something. Like it's simply about drama, and Alex Hall is to me a top tier reality star. Yes, she's MAGA. Yes, she's a piece of shit. Hello, so are so many people we like watching on television. But she is a great reality star. She's funny, she's honest, she gets into really bad arguments and then moves on kind of quickly. She gets drunk. She has constant drama with the king of all Nepo babies, Tyler. And she just like is not afraid to be a fucking bitch. And she's being a bitch to a pregnant woman too. Like that's not nice. But she stands 10 toes down in being a cunt, and I like that. I like that about her on the show. And the Tyler drama of it all is always really good because he is like so ridiculously handsome. He's lazy. He's a bad guy. He's a cheater. But he cries. And there's nothing that will make, reality viewers like a man as much as tears. And there was one moment where him and Alex, who have had, years long worth of drama and cheating scandals and hookups and a flame that can never be extinguished. And they, need to rehash it again. They want to basically squash the beef. They both need closure, but they're at this party and they're both drunk, talking to each other, crying. And he's crying, she's crying, and they talk for 2 fucking hours. That is crazy. And her boyfriend's in the other room, pissed off at her because they're crying, and she's obviously choosing to talk to Tyler for 2 hours versus being with her fucking boyfriend. He apologizes to her, and honestly, the whole drama was really fucking good. I know I'm not supposed to like it, but I don't care. This last season was also really good. There was like this gay drama happening. The gay drama got cut off this season. They said, get that gay guy off our fucking screen. We don't want him or his gay drama. Which is unfortunate because I believed him. I believed every fucking word that guy was saying. I don't remember his name. And I watched this last season when I was in Cape Town for work. It was like my happy place when I was done working, and I would just go into the room and, you know, curl up in the fetal position and watch Selling OC. So I think it has a special place in my heart. So definitely check that out if you're interested in just like bullshit reality television. Okay, last but not least, I watched The New Yorker at 100 on Netflix, which is a documentary about the New Yorker magazine's 100th year anniversary issue. It shows the kind of behind the scenes of how the magazine is put together, how the editors and writers and fact checkers all come together to make such a culturally relevant and important magazine in our culture. And it's so fascinating to watch the, you know, energy and effort put into every single word that is written in the New Yorker. And I'm not a big New Yorker fan. I love Condé Nast and I've worked there. So I've of course read the New Yorker, and of course I have a tote bag. I need to let peons know that I even know about the New Yorker. They don't even need to know I don't read it. If you really take every person with a New Yorker tote, I would say 6 out of 10 of them have never even picked up an issue. They're just holding the tote. But that's besides the point. The documentary really goes into showing how intentional every single word is, whether it is a article about Lizzo. I'm just using her as an example because I read an article about her recently. If she said, "Oh, I was sitting on the couch with my 2 dogs, Scrappy and Lulu," they would call Lizzo's team and say, "Can you please confirm that her dogs' names are Scrappy and Lulu?" Also, like, what are those names? But every single piece of information that they put into the New Yorker has been fact checked, even the smallest, minute little details. So you know that when you're reading an article from that magazine, it's actually something you can trust and it's factual information. And I think, in the world that we live in now, where any tweet or podcast, mine included, fake news podcast, don't forget it, can just spew nonsense as fact when it's just truly isn't. It's comforting to know that some publications are actually still taking the time to ensure that what they're putting in their articles, exposés, uh, interviews with celebrities, whatever it may be, is factual and is thorough. Again, in a world where that doesn't exist anymore, it is nice to know that there are still publications that really value truth. And 100 years of this magazine, and it's just not slowing down. If anything, the last few years have really picked up as people are kind of leaning more towards analog versus digital in terms of consuming long form content, in terms of reading. I mean, even like the new Vanity Fair article that came out with like the whole Trump administration and like poor Caroline Levitt. Never thought I'd say that, but like whew, those images of her fucking zoomed in face are pretty brutal. But I want to read all those articles. Reading an article online that's going to take 25 minutes to go through like is a little bit painstaking. And I'm the queen of ADD, so like within 14 seconds of reading, I'm like how to make cinnamon buns. Like I just immediately go to something else on Google. Like I can't stay focused. So with a New Yorker article or with a Vanity Fair article, I see the importance of being able to read it in a physical form. Speaking of just that Vanity Fair whole expose of the whole, Trump administration, regardless of what you think about what they said or his administration, I don't care, not my problem. I just have to say that, photography is so important. It's important to me as a producer in my real life. Like I produce and select, I handpick photographers, directors to work on the projects that I'm producing. But I think those images, if anything, really showed how lighting perspective has such an impact on storytelling in its own right. Those photos that they took were, not staged. They just were lit in a certain way that I think emanated the energy that the writer and photographer felt about their subjects. They were just being in their photo shoot world, doing what they normally would do, but the lighting intentions, the positions that they were put in really said so much about Vanity Fair's perspective on the current administration without even saying it, explicitly. So I'm just really excited to see this kind of new era of Vanity Fair in general. Back in the summertime, they actually got a new top editor, Mark Guiducci. Shout out to an Italian brethren. But he's actually the first global editorial director at VF now. And so this is kind of like his first big blast for Vanity Fair, which actually ended up getting a massive amount of new digital subscribers. So it shows you that kind of provocative storytelling through both interviews and photography can actually get people back to reading your publication. And I will say it's also interesting to kind of clock the new verbiage throughout Condé Nast in particular. Mark is now not the editor in chief title. That is no longer a title at Condé Nast. It's the global editorial director. And same with Chloe, the new Anna Wintour. She is the head of global content, I think, or some shit like that. She's not the editor in chief. And so it's sad because that was like always like the dream job of many kids growing up. Like that's what I always thought I would be, the editor in chief of Vogue. Until I realized like what that entailed. And I'm like, I can barely fucking read, let alone like read a lot to be the editor in chief. That sounds fucking terrible. But anyways, again, as I mentioned, I am just watching a couple other documentaries. I'm rewatching The Vow on HBO Max right now about the NXIVM cult. Again, fucking brand me, bitch. Like, it's the end of 2025. Brand me, sign me up for a cult in Albany, New York. I'll go. You don't even have to really encourage me. I'm gonna fucking go. And I also rewatched Going Clear, the Scientology documentary on HBO as well. Again, I don't know what's going on, you guys, but I'm just leaning into cults right now. I don't know. I don't know what that says about me. I'm gonna work through it on my vision board thing I'm doing. What is it called again? True Compass? The fuck is it? What the hell is that thing? I've sent it to 22 people, so I don't know why I can't figure it out. What the hell is it? Year Compass. You guys, check out Year Compass to, plot a good 2026. You guys, we've earned it. And again, I was not even going to fucking talk for a while. And somehow, unedited, this episode is over an hour. But thank you so much for listening to I Know You Didn't Ask. I appreciate you guys sticking around, staying around. I hope you're all having a lovely holiday break and are able to just kind of take some time to rest and to, recalibrate before the new year. On Friday, I'm going to have my 2025 recap episode, recapping in chronological order all of the top items that came out this year. I was planning to do that today, but because of my vocal cords and all of it, I didn't want to waste a really strong episode on a really poor energy and a really bad vocal fry. But thank you so much for listening. Again, if you have a moment to just rate, review the show, tell a friend, do anything kind, I would appreciate it. But if you don't want to do it, I don't fucking blame you, because I don't know if I've ever done that when someone's ever asked on a podcast. So, you know what? Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll go to other podcasters' shows and rate, review, subscribe, and do all the things to them to hopefully get the good fortune back on myself. Look, I didn't even do my fucking vision board or whatever the fuck it's called, and I'm already making positive changes for 2026. So take a page from my book and be kind. Be kind this year. Again, after like me talking shit about people for an hour, I'm like, be kind. It's really easy. Being kind is free. Okay, I have to go. I have to go pick up a free Ina Garten book for my Buy Nothing group. That's going to be all I really do today. Then I need to get back on the couch, take some Tamiflu. Again, take a miscellaneous orange pill and hope for the best. I need to sleep this shit off. It's New Year's Eve. I don't know. Maybe I'll get a bottle of nice wine, get some Barolo, get a gorgeous red. I don't know what I'm going to make tonight because now I'm sick. I was going to make a gumbo. But you guys, I have a lot on my plate. And I just want to go to bed and eat sushi, so maybe I'll just do that. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to I Know You Didn't Ask. Love you, mean it. Tune in to next episode that will be out on Friday, 2025 recap, and have a great rest of your day. Bye. New episodes of the I Know You Didn't Ask podcast are out every Monday and Friday, available wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube.